Albert Einstein once said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. What was your moment when someone judged you like that? I lived in Argentina, from us, for a little bit as a kid. At a parent-teacher conference early in the school year, one art teacher had to break it to my parents that I might be mentally disabled because I don't respond or participate. They let her know I didn't speak any Spanish at the time. She had no idea because none told her, and my name is Spanish and it just didn't occur to her. Teacher, I think your child might be mentally challenged. Parent, no, he's just American. Teacher, Criec su hijo podría tener problemas mentales. Parent, what? Muy bien gracious. Y2. DNDE esta mi familia. Muy bien gracious. Y2. La biblioteca. Currently 8 am. I'm in France for a few months. I can barely speak French and my teachers think I'm mentally challenged. Even though I was acing my classes back home. Even when you become fluent, they'll still think you're challenged. Edit. I just want to clarify that I loved living in France and made many great friends and memories there. My experience was overwhelmingly positive, and I consider it a second mother country. As I posted in a reply below, to be fair, with my friends and colleagues this was never an issue. It was probably about 25% of the time, and exclusively with strangers or workers at shops, who would immediately switch to English the moment I hesitated or accidentally used poor pronunciation. I should also mention that it happened a lot more when I lived in Paris than when I lived in Lyon. The worst was actually whenever I visited Genève. Judge the country kids in my English class for being dumb fucks until I did an autos class. What I found incomprehensible they could do with these. I had become the dumb fuck. Respect the fact that you admitted you were the one judging people. For real. This world would be a much better place if more people could admit their own mistakes such as these and grow from the experience. As someone who has lived life in and out of a city and rural land, I have acquired more skills than staying in one comfort zone would have. Exposure to the material and having to learn teaches a lot. 100% this. I've learned to code and learned to use a wrench. They're both difficult and it's hard for a person who has only done one to wrap his head around the other. Everyone should try and learn as much as possible in their life. Really expands your perspective. Once someone on Reddit started complaining about something and said I wasn't a real man for a bunch of reasons. I'm a woman, so they're not exactly wrong. I get that all the time too. My personal favorite was when I said it's difficult to date lesbians. It's a common issue with women that they were taught men should make the first move. So with two girls no one wants to move first. Everyone assumed I was a dude harassing lesbians and trying to make them straight, which is why they wouldn't go out with me. Made the comment before going to work and I had -200 by lunch. Mayo, you're my hero. I believe people judged you because of the sergeant in your username, which is another obvious misconception. Brilliant. Even in the age where everyone's grandma has Facebook, the whole "there are no girls on the internet" meme is some people's reality. The time my middle school art teacher called my parents because she thought I was purposefully mocking her by making my art bad. I literally can't draw beyond a 3rd grade level unless I'm copying an object right in front me. My parents basically cussed her out after they saw how hurt I was. Has she really experienced such vindictive kids? Yeah, she raised them herself. When I was in the Navy I used to get in fairly frequent trouble for the suggestions I made for improving operational efficiencies. As an outside contractor they were quite happy to pay me $200 an hour to say the exact same thing. Personal change must come from within. Organizational change must come from without. Loose change must come from the pocket. And pocket change must come from someone else's. Need a change come in someone else's pocket. In school I was too nerdy for the jocks and too jockish for the nerds. Now that we have all grown up, I take everyone's money in fantasy football. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Smart moves, my friend. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Profit FDFY. Step 1. Improvise. Step 2. Adapt. Step 3. Overcome. Step 4. Step 5. Profit FDFY. When I said Albert Einstein once said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking it's stupid, and they said he never said that. Edit. Yay, I'm that guy. Big whoop. Wanna fight about it? Thanks for my first ever gold, kind stranger. Yes, it's a quote by Vladimir Lenin, and it actually says, if you judge proletariat by its ability to amass property and capital, the proletariat will always end up admiring the extraordinary talent of the capitalists, rather than realizing it is being oppressed. I'm the walrus. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. In fact, it is originally a quote by young Sheldon, and it actually says, if you judge a cork by its ability to form mass itself, and the properties therein, the fabric of reality will spend its entire existence with only the comfort of a supple bazinga as solace. Playing sports growing up, I would make these comically bad errors. The ball would hit me directly in the face, or I would swing at a pitch too late. Everyone gave me shit, even the coaches and parents. I kept playing because I enjoyed being active and around my friends, but I never understood why. No matter how much I practiced, I struggled with basic things that everyone else could do without thinking. I go to the eye doctor as an adult, and he tells me that I have a condition in one of my eyes that means I don't have binocular vision, and as a result have very poor depth perception. It's physically impossible for me to track a moving object in space like everyone else. I know the pain, mate. Was forced to play volleyball in high school even though I obviously couldn't follow the ball. I was once looking right at it, but couldn't spot it, and it hit me right in the face. Turns out I have a retinitis pigmentosa, which not only means I can't follow objects, but I can't see at night. My peripheral vision sucks, and anything that requires precision movement is out of the question. Thankfully, I'm great in other fields that do not require good eye coordination. When I was at a company, had me interview for a different position than I had applied for. The position they interviewed me for was one I knew nothing about, and told them as much. Despite me telling them before each round of interviews that they had made a mistake, I still had to endure a full day of people asking me questions that I had no answer to. Who sounds like you dodged a bullet though, if ours was that incompetent. Plot twist, he got the job. I'm literally not the right person for the job, and you shouldn't hire me. He's so honest and insightful. Hire him ASAP. They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics. They said welcome aboard. I was the fish trying and failing to climb the tree, and my boss called to offer me a position swimming. That time my boss called me to tell me I sucked at my job, but followed it up by telling me I got crazy good comments about this one small part of my job, so would I like to do that full time. Did the new thing for 6 years, and used it to land another, even better, position at the same company. Thanks for recognizing my talents, old boss. You were a bit of a shit boss, but when it mattered you really were a help. Edit. Since so many are asking, here's actual detail. Moved from software implementation, which had a bit of a teaching component to it, to formally teaching how to use the software. Have since moved into writing the content that is taught. How? Shitting on and appreciating your boss? It was really a win-win situation. He got me off his team, and I got to do something I didn't dread, and was actually pretty good at. He was still a crap boss the rest of the time. Once at my workplace, I asked for help to open a box, because I really couldn't open it. This one girl I worked with looked at me with disgust, and didn't help me. She later talked shit about me, and said I'm fucking stupid. I was born with polydactyly, and they cut off my 2 extra fingers, and fixed a lot of stuff. I can't use all my fingers properly. By the way, fuck you Sarah. Edit. Wow, I never thought that a comment about calling out Sarah's bullshit would be my most upvoted one, nor that it would blow up like that. Thank you, kind strangers. I have a feeling those last few sentences should have been your response. My fingers don't work. Also fuck you. But if they did, I'd be flipping you off. Yeah, fuck you Sarah. 90% of what Albert Einstein quotes on the internet was not said by Albert Einstein. Internet 2019. Albert Einstein once said 90% of my quotes on the internet were not said by me. 90% of statistics aren't true. You are 73.2% more likely to be believed if you use uneven numbers. 69% of statistics are made up on the spot. In high school I was really good at debate and aced all my government classes. However, I had to take a pottery class for an art credit. I sucked. Hardcore. My vase looked like some bees had taken crack before they built their hive. The teacher legitimately thought I was special needs. 2 years later I was working retail to help put myself through college. I ran into the teacher one day. It is so awesome you have a job. Good for you. I felt like Kevin Malone being patronized by Holly Flax. My mother loves to tell this story to her friends. That fucking blows. Throwing is hard. I can hand build literally anything and get praised for it, but I can't fucking throw to save my life. USMC judges you on your ability to run. No matter how good or bad you are at anything, if you can run fast, you are presumed better at everything. It overcomes crimes, mental retardation, and absolute stupidity. That's how the army is. When I first came in, my push-ups and sit-ups sucked ass and I borderline failed my PT tests. But when my drill sergeants and chain of command saw my 12:10 2-mile run time, my dad has trained me to be a distance runner since I was a little kid. They all left me alone, and once I started putting on muscle in addition to the run time, I was able to get away with so much shit and get out of so many details. It's easier to add strength than it is to add endurance and conditioning to a young man. Also, a soldier who can run for hours has a longer lifespan than one who can do 100 sit-ups. Yeah, that's dumb. I don't see how that correlates with your ability to eat crayons. The fastest Marine gets his pick of the crayon box. This was kind of judging as well as being judged. In my high school guitar class, me and one other girl were both really struggling. I judged her as being bad at music / unskilled / stupid, like me. Thing is, I remember an incident of my teacher, who was very technologically improficient, asking my help with typing something he'd written by hand. He was trying to read it aloud to me, but eventually I just asked him to set it down where I could see it, because it was easier and faster for me to touch type it. He was floored by how fast and how well / correctly I could type that way, and while many, if not most, 16-year-olds probably can now, back then it was a little less usual. Not too long after, like a week I think, the piano in the music room was, for once, left uncovered. That girl who I judged as being a fellow musical idiot sat down and started playing that piano phenomenally. I have a very visceral and vindicating memory of my guitar teacher looking between her, me, the computer, and my hands, and saying, "You know, that actually explains a lot." TL. Doctor, I judged myself and a guitar classmate as unskilled idiots, discounting just how great our typing / typing and piano skills were. Due to the shift of computing from desktop and laptop computers towards mobile phones, we are actually seeing a reversal of the trend that young people can type well. This was basically my childhood, because I was bad at math. I guess most children goes through this, which is very sad. Only at uni did I realize that I didn't have to be good at everything. I had a professor who spoke 13 languages, but couldn't count how much 5 + 4 is. He's the best at his field. Ironically, once you get to college, all the math professors have forgotten how to do simple math as well. I remember all of us checking like super basic math they are doing on the whiteboard cause they'd fuck it up 1 times in 4, but were completing these insane proofs. I get this even as a higher level math tutor. Give me anything beside basic math, and I can help you out almost without thinking. Helping my 2nd grade niece with her math homework? I'm counting on my fingers like she is. Student of applied mathematics here. I feel your pain. Simple integers are usually n. K. I was once reading a proof a friend wrote late at night and I come over to him halfway through and said, dude, you must be exhausted. Some of your epsilons are written backwards. He explained to me that some fields of mathematics have this concept called the number 3.